in his study.
Okay.
His study is over there, boy. In the main building.
So, hello and welcome to today's Yakuza video, which is a first for the channel. Well, technically third. Today I'm going to be showing off the Jimmy Hopkins mod for Yakuza 5 Remastered, which replaces the main protagonist Kiryu Kazuma in 2 of his outfits. Now this mod was made by fellow buddy YouTuber Simon Bestia. One thing you'll notice with the mod is it's not your typical Jimmy Hopkins replacement mod. Unlike every other mod for like say Mario Kart, Sifu or GTA, this doesn't bring Jimmy over in any kind of outfits, it just replaces the head near enough. And since this mod is a player replacement mod, you've probably seen hundreds of times for 1,000 different games and characters. I'm not going to really talk about that, but instead focus on the mod's quality. I know quite a few people in the buddy community also seem to like the Yakuza series because it's in the same genre of brawler and doesn't take itself too seriously. So I think if you like Yakuza and buddy, you'll probably like this mod. Anyway, as stated, the mod only replaces Kiryu's head instead of his entire outfit, and to be honest, I kind of like that approach. Buddy character models are not the highest quality to begin with, and they do tend to stick out quite horribly in more modern games. Despite the mod making Jimmy 6 foot tall as well, he's not really that out of place because he's still smashing in people's heads with whatever weapons he can pick up, and surprisingly, it's true to character. Well, mostly. I don't really see Jimmy scraping his opponent's heads on the floor, but you get what I mean. The animations are pretty solid as well because, well, Simon Bestia went to the effort to actually animate them. I mean that, his head isn't like static. His mouth moves, his eyes move, and it's weird to see. Like, the model features full face rigging and it works in cutscenes perfectly fine. Yes, even the karaoke songs, and it's just so weird to see Jimmy with actual emotion. I have to give props to Simon for going through the effort to make Jimmy's eyes and mouth move because, to be honest, this is probably the first mod that brings Jimmy to another game that does that. And yes, I'm even talking about myself there because my Jimmy mod for GTA 5 I made back in 2016 didn't either. Now of course the mod is not 100% perfect, because I did notice that Jimmy's teeth do tend to stick out a bit. But to be fair, Simon did say this is his first attempt at a custom Yakuza mod, so we'll be extra harsh on him. We're just going to give the following advice: delete the mod, fix the teeth, and if there's even a slight pixel out of place, don't even bother uploading it. Now one thing to note is the mod only replaces 2 of Kiryu's outfits, these being the iconic Dragon of Dojima outfit, aka that same grey suit he's worn since the 1980s, and the Nagasugai outfit, aka the one he wears on the massive coat. To be honest, I prefer this one because it makes Jimmy look slightly more in place. Now the reason I say slightly more in place is because one, the grey suit is too iconic to be worn by anybody else other than Jimmy. And 2, I feel like it would be something Jimmy would probably wear in winter, to be honest, especially as he gets older. And also, another reason I say slightly is because remember, this is set in Japan and in 2012, and Jimmy's still like 6 foot and still sticks out a little bit. Even if Buddy and Yakuza were to take place in the same universe, I somehow doubt Jimmy would grow that quickly at age 22. Now that I think of it actually, one thing that just came to mind, this part's completely unscripted, but in 2022 I did a video on Jimmy in Sifu, which if you don't know takes place in China. Yakuza takes place in Japan. So, by this logic, in 2024, somebody's going to make a mod that brings Jimmy to Vietnam, North Korea. Somebody get on that please, I think that'd be quite interesting to see. Now the mod itself doesn't actually have that many issues, to be honest. Like, I haven't really noticed many, excluding the teeth, and I think that's mostly because of the fact the buddy character models were never intended to have stuff like tongues. So you weren't supposed to see them, so in cutscenes when it's talking, it's can be a little jarring to see kind of like through the skull, if you know what I mean. But it's worth mentioning, if you do play with the mod enabled, the mod might look like it semi-deactivates at times. Like, without trying to talk too much about spoilers for anybody who hasn't played it yet, in fact, very early on in the game there's actually a part where Kiryu and his boss go to a hostess bar, and since the mod doesn't alter the outfit without the jacket on, he goes back to his old self. But then when they leave the bar and he puts a jacket on, Kiryu turns back into Jimmy Hopkins. But yeah, it's just something to be a bit wary of, like outfit changes like that will sort of have you swapping between characters. It doesn't mean the mod's broken or anything like that. All in all, the mod is pretty fun to try out, and given how much time has passed since Buddy actually released, Jimmy would probably be in his early 30s around now. So, in a way, this could be considered canon, if Jimmy was knocked down by a foot or so. You know, maybe Jimmy moved to Japan in his late 20s and still gets into regular fights. And since it's canonical that Jimmy's always been into music, the karaoke games can actually be considered canon as well, so yeah. Anyway, I'll put a link to the mod in the description below, and that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching and have a great day.